I'm
push
ready.
all those buttons.
The buttons have been pushed.
Oh fuck. Oh.
Welcome back, guys. What were you guys' thoughts on E3? I'm glad that I have zero impressions from you guys.
That E3 thing happened.
There are a lot of thoughts I have.
Excellent.
I have many thoughts of varying different degrees of good, bad, and indifferent. You know,
Do you have a?
but
Can everybody give me like a quick impression? Like I thought it was good.
I pulled away lots of indifferent. There was a lot of good stuff. There was a lot of bad stuff, but more than anything, there was a lot of stuff that I saw. I was just like, okay,
Yeah,
Keanu
yeah,
Reeves.
Keanu
I
Reeves.
yeah for sure. I overall was very neutral. There were
Yeah.
a lot of things like when I got really excited, I was really excited. Like I
Yep.
wasn't kind of like in between. But like I feel like for the most part, like I really enjoyed the things I did, and like I really thought some shit was trash. But for the most part, like it was a pretty even experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep in mind, I didn't say it was great. I just think it was good. It was a
Right.
good E3.
No,
Yeah.
it was fine.
All
It
right.
was fine.
It was fine. Uh, have we gotten yours yet, Anna? Your brief thoughts?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah,
That's all I
Keanu
have.
Reeves. Kind of, yep, yep,
That
yep,
yeah,
yep. Sums it up nicely.
that's
Okay,
where she's at.
cool. Let's
That's all
get
I have to
down
say.
to the details then, because yeah, I think the
All
the
right.
brief overview so far has been a great one. It's like there's highlights and there's also just like where is
Yeah.
E3 going? So where does the
So
schedule begin?
the first conference that happened was EA Play,
Hmm.
and like I didn't think it was gonna happen, but it totally did. I wasn't so much interested in what they were talking about, more as what they didn't talk about. They didn't mention Anthem once.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't anticipating them to. I just
It's like it never existed.
it. I mean, I was hoping them even anything like tongue in cheek to be like, it wasn't the best. Like something, like we got a little bit of that later in like the couple days, but yeah, just not anything. And I guess I figured I didn't think
So
they were gonna be like, oh yeah, so like that thing that sucked.
we did get a little bit of coverage apparently. I didn't actually watch any of the like E3 EA coverage. I was gone backpacking during like most of the things, so I just had to kind of catch up afterwards. But apparently, yeah, there was this like anthem segment that I thought it was fucking hilarious. I posted in Messenger, but not to you guys. Come to think of it, I'll post it in the Discord right now. But yeah, like just Anthem makes everybody depressed. That's the synopsis of what I
Yeah,
have to say about Anthem as well.
everyone was miserable. The end.
Yeah, God, it sucks to see like Bioware going in this direction and yeah, everything with it.
Yeah, yeah, it's real weird just to have like companies that you're like, oh fuck, like you guys are doing great stuff. You guys are putting out good content. And you have this real weird like bad blip, and you're like, what happened? This
I
isn't
mean,
gonna be a thing, is it?
I guess what I should have said was they split their stuff up between I think like six different segments. They had a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, they had an Apex segment, they had a Battlefield segment, they had an NFL 20 segment, they had a FIFA 20 segment, and then they had a Sims 4 segment, and that was it. Like they did small things here and there, but those were the sex. I was expecting an Anthem segment. Show me
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
or
explain.
like just like talk about stuff that like they wanted to do, what they were planning on doing to like you don't even have to phrase it like fix it, but fucking talk about the train wreck that you just fucking gave to us. Come on.
To be fair, BioWare's been going downhill since Dragon Age 2.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Just
it's not coming out
I
of
would s-
nowhere for sure, but it's not
I would
anything that
say, hold on, I have to do a little bit of research before I speak.
yeah, it's not anything that's making me like happy to see. That's for sure. But I mean, honestly, I didn't even watch the EA coverage. Was there anything that you guys like want to get at that was I don't know encouraging to
Um,
see out of
Yeah,
that
okay, yes,
conference?
Anna, Yes, Anna, I agree with you.
So I think the one thing Ian and I both mutually felt was, so we watched some of the gameplay of like the new Star Wars game, and like it looks really nice and it looks really crisp, and like I do like how very like Star Wars it feels. But there's absolutely nothing fantastical about it really. Like
It's a
there
video game. That's how I've been describing it to
yeah,
people. Hey, have you
it's
seen the Fallen Order footage? Yeah, it looks like a video game. It
and
doesn't
it's
look like, and like, there's nothing special or innovative about it. Like literally every single one of the things that they're doing has been done before multiple times.
and like I think the point is it's not it's bad that they're doing these things, but there's nothing
There's
unique
nothing
about them.
innovative about it.
Yeah, they're not doing anything particular to help like with the game or kind of improve upon it or help kind of identify it with its own personality. It just feels like a very generic Star Wars game.
That really feels like that characterizes pretty well how EA has handled their license of Star Wars this whole time. The games are just so meh. Like, I don't know, Battlefield, honestly, I enjoyed it and thought the gameplay was fun, but because Battlefield is fun, like, or Battlefront, I always get those two mixed up. But
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like the fact that that's all they've made so far, and now in the last couple of years that they have this contract to use Star Wars stuff, they're making this game. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah,
So, one thing that I do like about it is they're taking the Neo and Sekiro way of combat, where the enemy has two bars. They have a like a posture or basically a posture bar and their health bar, and you have to wear down their posture bar in order to actually get to their health bar. They'll like auto block every attack until they don't have basically the posture anymore, and then you can actually hit them like once or twice.
Hey
But
Haley,
that's
you're like there's like breathing or wind into the mic that's quite
sorry.
audible. Thank you.
I think I accidentally adjusted my mic.
Okay, don't you dare.
um,
Keep that
I
perfectly
didn't
in
mean to.
place.
that's a
Shit.
system
All
that I
right.
would like to see in character action games going forward because it's a really nice system and it feels really good. Um, but here's this Stig Asmussen, who's one of the designers of the game, said that this game is Metroid and Zelda and Dark Souls, but Star Wars.
Still kind of audible breathing, slightly.
Here, hold on. Hold on. I'll point it. I'm gonna keep it in the same position and just point it away from my nose.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very interested to see like the like although it's not necessarily innovative, it's gonna be new for a Star Wars game, so that could be cool.
Force, Force Unleashed did this like 10 years ago. Like not that battle
uh,
system, not the
yeah,
battle
I would.
system, but the character action like Star Wars game where you get to use the Force and lightsabers.
Well, that's what I mean though, is that battle system specifically of like the
Yeah.
Sekiro and
It's
the Neo
it's new. It's new
gimmick.
to a lot of things.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what happens with it. I mean, it'll either be a bad game and I don't buy it, or it'll be a great game and I get to celebrate it. That's kind of how I feel. So, on that note, other things from EA that we did feel good about? Because I feel like it's easy to shit on EA all day, but like I want to try and pick
Yeah.
out what good we can.
Honestly, I didn't see any good.
Yeah,
It was all meh or eh. It was
Yeah.
either
It
meh or
wasn't.
I don't want to talk about this.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It wasn't even like bad necessarily. It was just there wasn't anything spectacular really that like caught my eye. Like I mean,
Tons of
I'm sure Star Wars is gonna be fine, but
So that's actually going to take me back to like a theme that I want to kind of touch on throughout the podcast of like where we think E3 is going. A lot of people think that like E3 is just kind of going to be dying away as these big names just do their own live stream coverage. But personally, I was thinking today, I'm just really hoping. I don't know that there's much, reason for it other than like this is what we want. That there's continues to be one convention or like place, some time around the year where we can all get together and like there's a lot of announcements made around that time. Even if it's not ever as big as E3 once was, I still hope that there's some unity and like one big event where games can be announced, because it seems like everything is just going down, and developers and everybody who was even there did not feel as much pressure to release any, make any big announcements because everybody, half the people are gone.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Anna?
I don't remember.
Fuck.
Whoops, didn't mean to cut you off. I just, yeah, that's like a theme I would like to touch back on throughout the podcast if we can. I'd like to get your guys'
Yeah, for
thoughts on
sure.
that.
It's Nintendo started doing Nintendo Direct, um, and then games started being announced at other conferences, like CES and PAX and Gamescom and even Game Awards. And then other companies are also doing this direct monthly update thing. And I think June of every year will always be the biggest releases and the biggest names of everything, but I think it's going to be more spread out throughout the year now. And that's that.
Yeah, I think it absolutely will be. I'm hopeful that there will still be like some time in the year where we're going to see a lot of these announcements converge together.
It's still gonna remain June of every year. We're gonna get like the biggest announcements.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Most likely.
but like E3 is probably gonna not be so big anymore. When I asked people if they watched it, less and less people cared. Less people cared about it than last year, and last year less people cared about it than the year before. So it's unfortunate that it's happening, but
Yeah, for sure.
it's just kind of the way the industry's moving now.
Yeah, like that's definitely something that like especially from like the I don't want to say older generation, but like there's been a lot of like my brother who's been a huge game nerd for a very long time. He's like I like really just over time have just stopped watching E3. He's like it's not even necessarily that I've been disappointed. It's just there's less and less that interests me and it just feels like either we're doing the same thing or there's just very generic things or just plain out bad. And I'm like, "Oh, that's a bummer." That's a big old bummer.
There definitely seems to be more efficient ways to navigate E3, like just picking out which games you're trying to follow and watching like the shortened versions on YouTube afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah. Next conference.
Was Microsoft. This was the big one. This was Microsoft basically taking basically what they had to do was be big enough for them and Sony who wasn't there. So
Yeah.
this was the one of the biggest titles and the biggest things, bar Nintendo, obviously. Um,
Mhm.
And then
like
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, so we'll get to Keanu Reeves, and believe me, I do want to talk about that. But I want to say probably one of the biggest announcements was the next gen console of Project Scarlet, and the
Yeah.
fact that Halo Infinite is going to be a launch title for Project Scarlet,
Pseudo
which I think,
announcement of Project Scarlet, though. No real
Yeah.
like anything solid
well,
given. Just kind of
Yeah.
things
holiday
we already
20
knew.
holiday 2020. So like
With Halo,
we
yeah,
didn't
that's true.
we, we didn't know the specs. So we didn't know it was going to have an SSD, although we probably thought it was going to. We
Yeah,
didn't know it was going to be 120 FPS, although we thought it was going to. 8K was a surprise when Sony announced it, so the fact that Microsoft announced it too is a nice sign. Variable refresh rates with the ray tracing and the hardware acceleration, like all of these things were things we probably kind of figured out that we were gonna be doing, but we didn't know for a fact. But then they announced that it was going to be set for holiday of next year, and Halo is going to be a launch title for it, which is, might I add, the correct choice.
right. So I guess what I found the most interesting about the whole Scarlet thing that I keep thinking about is what Phil Spencer talked about in a. Okay, now I'm starting to get echo. I'm starting to hear it too. Yeah, it's totally through Haley's mic. I can see her lighting up when I hear me. What's
Which
going
is
on?
weird because I don't know. Like I have it as far away from my face as I physically can. Like everything is down to the within me being able to hear in a reasonable point. Like
Hmm. It might be the headset you are using. Technical difficulties. We're gonna switch headsets and see if that solves the problem.
yeah, sorry guys. I don't really know.
Oh, audio.
Is Anna back?
Yes.
Yes, we are all here and ready to go. So,
Let's go.
let's go. Um, I was actually more impressed by the PC conference than the Microsoft conference, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which surprised me. I was like, every game in the PC conference, I was like, I can get behind that. But Xbox, I was like, yeah, all right, I get it. You're cool. You got games now. You're catching up, but still got a lot of ways to go. But
And
yeah,
you know what's even funnier about that? Most of the games that they announced that were really good were on both consoles.
really,
Like
yeah, I was kind of wondering throughout that, like, how many,
Cyberpunk's on PS4.
yeah,
Yeah.
Elden Ring's on PS4. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is on PS4. Jedi: The Fallen Order's on PS4. Borderlands 3 is on PS4. Bleeding Edge, I think, is Xbox exclusive. Minecraft Dungeons is on PS4. Psychonauts 2 is on PS4. Like Outer Worlds is on PS4, Blair Witch is on PS4, Spiritfarer is going to be on PS4. Like a ton of these games that they announced are also on PS4.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to see which ones are actually the exclusives. Then I wonder if I can find that right now.
It's Gears, Halo, and whoever Microsoft owns.
Well, that's quite a few though. They own like 13 studios now. Though.
Yeah.
But not a lot of them showed off games.
Yeah, but even still, though, I want to know. I was wondering this beforehand, so now that you bring it up, I definitely want to look it up. This is good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you
Quality
finding good
content.
quality information there, Austin?
You know, well, you see, no, I'm not finding what I'm looking for.
Oh.
I'm
Well,
hoping
shit.
just, yeah, like, so I guess it really, okay. Maybe I'll just look at the games list. And I'll recognize some of those studios, maybe, hopefully. All this stuff is like Xbox. Okay, here we go. Games Radar. Condensed. Xbox is just like showing you everything, just stroking it. Like, okay, I get it. Can I just see the games that you quickly
Such a fucking tease.
said stroke? Wait, okay, but this is not Xbox stuff though. This is just E3. Uh,
Yeah, all E3 articles for coverage this year are fucking garbage. They only talk about what they care about and not everything that was talked about. I have found like 2 or 3 good articles about E3.
yeah, yeah. I should have come more prepared for this. Yeah, I thought I could just like easily find a list of all the stuff that they recapped. Nope.
Bitch, you thought.
Alright, maybe I just have to go to the Xbox. Stroke it. I'll stroke it. Yep. The single largest showcase of games on stage this year.
Oh
That's them.
my gosh.
Okay, this actually isn't so bad. Okay, doc, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
And we're back. So there's an alphabetical list here, so I think we should go through said alphabetical list. That sounds alphabetically excellent. So Age of Empires Definitive Edition, that is actually something I'm pretty stoked on. 2 is the only game I ever played out of the series. So could be dope.
Okay.
Yep. Battletoads, much hype. Blair Witch,
Okay.
didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look okay. I'm just like, I just love the fact that a meme is coming back in the form of a game after all these years later. Just
When
Yeah.
when when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is Outlast, and then I was like, oh, this is Resident Evil, and I was like, oh, this is Silent Hill,
what were we talking about,
and then
Blair Witch?
yeah,
Okay.
and then I saw the dude standing in the corner. I was like, oh, it's a Blair Witch, and then it zoomed out, and I was like, wait, I
No,
was
wait.
joking. Wait, no, wait. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Not super feeling it.
it
Uh,
looks interesting.
I keep like forgetting what Bleeding Edge is. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, Bleeding Edge is that real fucking weird game that Ninja Theory's making.
I
So
mean,
Ninja Theory has this like released Hellblade, which is super mature, super amazing game, like one of the best games of 2017. Like
yeah.
it was so fucking good. And then they released Bleeding Edge, which looks like Overwatch and like a game that wants to be Overwatch and Borderlands at the same time.
It's yeah. It's got a lot
Huh.
going on.
Okay. Let's see.
It has big Battleborn vibes,
Oh, that's right.
and
That's
not
what this is.
and not the good one, and not the good Battleborn vibes.
I don't know. Might be decent. I'm on board with this actually. Now that I remember what this was, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
cool with more
I
like Overwatch clones.
Me too, honestly, like I'm definitely skeptical, but I think overall I'm pretty excited to see what might happen, but I'm
Yeah.
also not super invested.
Yeah. For sure. Okay.
I
I'm with you.
I was expecting more stuff along the lines of Hellblade, not this. So I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, I and Hellblade was a really good game. So, I mean, I definitely understand.
Yeah. Okay. There's definitely more things that could have come out of a studio like Ninja Theory. Um, that's true. Yes, you guys might have heard that mute, but the audience didn't.
I don't know what you're
Heard
talking about.
heard that burp. Uh, blurred that herp. Just blur those herbies right up when
Yeah,
nobody needs to.
blur them. I
Yep,
was gonna say blow them right up.
pic-
Yeah.
blow them. Yeah, I meant like pixelate it, but that's even better. Just zoom and enhance.
Zoom and enhance.
Let's really diagnose this. Yep, that's herpes.
Yep,
Speaking of
there it is.
herpes, Borderlands 3. Just kidding. How are you guys feeling about Borderlands 3?
I'm still
I mean,
pretty dang excited for it.
I
Yeah.
think
What I really like is that in preparation for Borderlands 3, they just added an entire new free DLC to Borderlands 2.
yeah.
That is right, and that is great. I'm loving, yeah, some of the choices that they have made. Honestly, I'm hella on board with. It's cool to see in an era where we have just like so much extra putting money into it. Like they're doing a lot of things they're not buying into. So that's neat.
Um, but this is something that Anna needs to talk about because Anna was big on Borderlands.
I'm extremely skeptical.
Uh,
Why? What are your concerns?
So, Borderlands 3 came out. I mean, Borderlands 2 came out a while ago, and think about the games that Gearbox have made since then,
Okay.
and then think about all the lies Randy Pitchford has given us.
think about all the
Okay.
lies.
Yeah,
It's
Randy
true.
Pitchford should not be allowed
And
to talk.
I want this game to be the next Messiah, but I'm terrified it's going to be awful.
I think we all want it
I'm
to be the
really
next Messiah. We're all on board
I'm
with you
really
there.
scared too. Like I'm scared to the point where I'm thinking of canceling my collector's edition and just going with like the regular edition that comes with the season pass.
Canceling your
Um,
collector's edition. Wow. When does this
yeah,
game come out again?
the 13th of September.
Yeah.
Pretty darn
Also
soon.
because like the collector's edition is $250 and I'm not sure I can pay for it in time.
Big
Hold the
oof.
door. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but we could put that to fucking better shit. So I mean, it would be really cool, but
What
like
does it
I
come with?
definitely
Uh
don't remember. There's
10
some shit.
figures, snap together model of Sanctuary,
That would
a
so
world map,
bad.
couple lithograms, a wall scroll, comes in a diamond loot chest. Also comes with a season pass and a bunch of DLC with and like cosmetics and whatnot. Art book, I think, soundtrack as well.
What's a lithogram?
A lithogram is basically each character has like a little like basically little art thing that goes with.
The character design looks amazing. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
Yeah.
Especially the new Maya. I want her coat so bad.
yeah, that coat looks pretty sick. It's like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's basically an oil and ink imprint on like a stone or something like that of each of the characters.
Okay. Yeah, depending on how like well done those 10 characters there are, that could be worth it. But 250 is a decent price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather. Yeah, I'm. The amount of money that I have on the collector's edition right now is enough to pay for the super deluxe. So all I have to worry about is paying for all the Monster Hunter World Iceborne DLCs that I have.
It's not very
Yeah.
pleasant though.
I pre-ordered 4 of them.
Wait,
Yeah, that would probably be like a better use of your money.
Paul, right?
4 because one for me, one for Haley, one for Adam, one for Anna.
All right. Any other closing thoughts on Borderlands?
I'm excited. I want to play Flack. That looks like the character most drawn to my tastes.
I want to play a
I'm
gun.
gonna play pseudo tank girl.
Yeah.
You want to play Tank Girl?
Pseudo tank girl.
Her name's Mose. I honestly, when I saw the trailer and I saw Mose, I was like, that is Anna. Mose, that's Anna's character. Like,
Yeah.
I just knew because you liked the Necromancer so much. And, like, I don't know, that one seemed the most to be you. Amara was most Adam. Of course, the most boring person, the operative, would be Justin, because, you know, he loves boring.
Because he's a cracker, a saltine cracker.
Because he loves square.
And then Flack was very obviously mostly me. Like, I figured, like, of the 4 people that would probably be playing it, our roles really did fit together super well. At least that's what my first impressions of it were.
I'm
I don't know what.
definitely picking up a copy, and I really want to get the season pass version, but I don't know if I'm willing to drop like $120 on it.
It's just 100.
Yeah.
Oh, is it now just 100? Okay.
It's always been 100.
Okay. I read 120 somewhere, and I was just like, big.
You might have read a Canadian website because that sounds like the same equivalent price. Games there, like games here cost $60. Games there cost $80 in Canadian dollars. So 120 sounds right for the Canadian.
For the
currency.
Canadians.
Yeah.
So it's just inflated. Games aren't actually more expensive over there. It's just
No,
inflation?
it's just literally their currency is different from ours.
Okay. Or not? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
It's worth a little bit less than the US dollar.
Okay. Yeah, Borderlands 3 looks great. Despite Randy Pitchford looks great.
And he's fucking wise. And he speaks like a man who's about to go to jail. Because this man about to go to jail.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, really. Like, let's be
Potentially.
honest.
Cyberpunk is
Okay.
number 1 on my list.
So now we get to Keanu Reeves.
Hell yes. I'm so pumped.
Like, okay, so let me tell you this story. During the Microsoft conference, I was at work. We had basically our tablet running live footage of E3 while we were ringing customers out. As soon as a rush stopped, no one was in the store. The Cyberpunk trailer just started, and my assistant manager and I were both like, "Ah, shit!" and we both like hovered over it, and we were watching the whole thing, and like, I was like, "Man, this looks really cool. This looks super nice." it's cool to see that we now have like confirmed versions of what female and male V look like.
Yeah.
Um, I hope there's more character customization past that, but we'll see. Um, but then like this Rick Ross looking motherfucker, as soon as he said like go in the bathroom and wash up, your neck's a mess, I'm like, ooh, this shit's about to go real fucking bad, isn't it?
Y'all
And
about to die.
boy, did that shit go bad. And I was like, man, this is super cool. I'm super excited for this. And then I hear, wake the fuck up, samurai. And I'm like, oh shit, who's this? I'm excited to see who our mentor is going to be. And like, we saw the silhouette, and both me and the assistant store manager got in super close. He took off his glasses, and we went, no fucking way! And we just
Yeah.
fucking screamed, and we were so excited. And then he comes out on stage,
Uh, and you're like, yo, whoa.
and
Just
then
it
he
was.
and then he calls us all breathtaking.
Oh, and like, you're breathtaking.
You're
Stop.
all breathtaking.
Stop.
So, at like when I got home is when I texted Anna, "Hey, did you fucking see this shit? Did you fucking see this shit?"
And then
And
I
she
got
said,
home and I fucking saw that shit.
"Uh-huh.
Yeah. It
That
was
game
so
looks
good.
so fucking good." From the gameplay that I saw from that 45-minute gameplay trailer to like all of the world building and everything, it looks fucking sick. I'm so excited. That
So
is a
my
$250 that I am spending
yeah.
for
That
the
is
Uh,
collector's
100%
edition.
worth it.
so I think I had tuned into the Microsoft like conference near the tail end, so I didn't see any of Keanu. I just like knew that they had talked about it, didn't see anything about it. And the first inkling that I got of it was on Twitter, which was, I was just fucking thinking to myself that E3 needed more Keanu Reeves, and I'm like, what? Excuse me? So I like looked through, and I was like, all right, maybe I should see like what Cyberpunk talked about. And I just saw him, and I was like, hey Ian, so like you don't get to decide. I'm spending your money on that game, so just not. Fortunately, not much you can do about it. It's just gonna happen. The hype is real.
Not at all. Listen,
What?
these are criminals. This city is full of criminals, and criminals speak in a very specific way.
Oh
The
wait.
way they talk is how like a criminal enterprise would talk. Especially these especially these like especially these like it's not like there's a very distinct line between the corporations, which are the antagonists of this game, and the street gangs. There's a very different, like, distinct line on how they speak, and the criminals that do speak the way they do, um, I think, is very fitting. And then the way the corporations speak is so slimy and sleazy that I think it's also fitting. There are so many different factions in this game because it's based off of a tabletop game called Cyberpunk 2020. Um, it's, I think it'll be fine. I think it's something you're going to get used to once you immerse yourself in the world. I mean, there are a bunch of like slang words that's like, whatever. It's sci-fi. Like,
Yeah.
if you're worried about slang words being cheesy, then you shouldn't enjoy sci-fi. But because
Okay,
sci-fi and fantasy are
Also,
all slang.
so I
Gotcha.
accidentally muted myself.
Okay.
Just for some context, just for like the last little bit, I am saying that I'm worried about the writing, and a little bit less so now that you've said that. What were you going to say, Anna?
there's like cheesy writing can be good writing. Um,
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 is all cheesy writing.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's so
And
good.
I love the writing in that game. Like, it's just, it's so good. it's so appropriate for the
So much
context.
cheese.
Yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing. How appropriate it is for the context.
Yeah. It.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think there are a lot of people who I think have concerns that it's not going to be handled well, and then I feel like there's journalists who just want to complain, and I think that's great. Um, but I really think it's going to be okay. I think I'm pretty excited for it, and I think they're going to handle it very well, and it's going to feel pretty like seamless to kind of like transfer like into there and kind of get adjusted to it. So I think it'll all work out. I think it'll all be okay. And we'll
I'm
make
definitely
it
gonna give it a shot. I mean, 'cause it looks fucking 10 out of 10 in every other regard, but yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a shot, and especially with your guys' reframing, I'll try and just keep that in mind. Because I don't know, the cheese can be appealing. Some, cheese is good. People like cheese.
right.
It's
We'll have
it's
to wait.
definitely the biggest thing is the context and the tone.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than tone deaf writing.
Yeah.
Like where they write very specifically for like this is supposed to be this way.
Okay,
and-
but like here's a perfect example. I just came through. So I'm watching some footage right now, and he just says, as we're walking out, we just got the augmentation. You're visiting the dock, right? And he says, you just got up from the chair. He says, "Go on, kid. Show him what you can do. And once you hit the big time, don't forget where you came from." Like, okay, all right.
yeah, I mean that's something we've heard in everything, and I mean this is probably one NPC that we're literally never gonna fucking meet in a 250-hour plus game.
I
Yeah.
do feel like I understand. Like I think they're going to have lines
That
that are
line
going
was
to be too
definitely
much.
cliched. I will give you
Yeah.
that.
There's just like a few of those that just takes me out of it every now and then, where it's like I could have wrote that better, and I don't make video games. It's just like ugh, you're like,
The
I-
but
use of
every
cliches
now
is
and
tough.
then, yeah.
Right. Like it is tough. Like I mean, that's the thing. Like making video games and like making a video game like this is hard. And I'm not
Here's a
saying that to give them like a step up, but like sometimes you're like, all right, it's cheesy, it's fine.
Or it's even like that. As long as the entire game isn't written like that. If the entire game is written like that, there's a big problem. But if it's a bunch of side NPCs that talk like that, like they're side NPCs, they're
Well, that
honestly not.
that was a
important.
main like guy that delivered that dialogue that I was just talking about. That was the doc that gives you the augmentations and that.
But
I
is
mean,
he the
who knows?
only
We
doc
could
you
never
can
see
go
him
to?
again. Like,
He definitely seems like a guy that you're gonna see again. I mean, maybe
mean,
not,
he-
but like it's not just him. Like there's other things, but
Well,
I'll give
so
it a shot.
I guess no, and I feel like if that's the only character you're going to, I definitely feel like that type of like character is going to grate on you. But the question I raise is that the only character you can go to for the type of upgrades? Is it multiple different characters, or do they just like repeat the same dude in every area?
That's a really
'Cause in
good
that
point,
case-
actually. Yeah.
In that case,
do you
I definitely
go
feel
to
like
the
that's too much.
handler and says, "We did a good job," and you're like, "Fucking we"?
Yeah, fuck the handler.
You go to the agricultural expert, and he's like, "Man, plants are crazy, aren't they? Anyway, you weren't here just to talk, were you?" Every time you talk to him,
Yeah. Like those characters definitely get grating. And
You
I
know-
definitely can understand if they repeat that same character why it would be, but I think you just have to see.
Yeah, it is after all an RPG. I'm just not realizing like if I don't like how somebody talks, I can just not deal with them, and if that means kill
Yeah.
them, then like yeah, I mean you did talk like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Becky,
I did
I
not
didn't like the
what you
way
said.
he called me kid. Like I hated it.
I didn't like the way that guy talks to that other guy, and he now needs to die.
Fucking
Like,
dead.
ooh, is that really your choice of dialogue, sir? I wish I can just, I really hope I can engage somebody on the street and after they say something stupid and be like, so what are you about? How's your life? Or are you going to be a missing cog in society?
hope not. Hope so.
Go get him, kid. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burned to the ground.
I really, I'm going to have a lot of fun role-playing for this game. Like,
Mhm.
and just, there's so many, Yeah. What kind of direction do you guys think you'll go? Like, there's so many different directions I can see myself going.
I honestly don't know. I'm just gonna see where it takes me that first time through. That's my favorite thing.
See, but when you do that, I feel like you always end up just going kind of neutral. You're just kind of like doing what you
Yeah.
would do as a character, and that's not
Yeah.
as
I
fun. I don't find as
I
like
What
planning it
understand.
out.
doing what I would do as a character first is the most honestly appealing thing to me,
Yeah.
and then exploring the other reaches of what's possible
If you're
is
doing
is,
multiple
You-
is
playthroughs,
good
yeah,
too.
for
Yeah.
sure. But I
Here's the
typically
deal.
only like one playthrough.
Yeah. As somebody who like, I definitely always like to tell myself I'm gonna be a jackass, and then I get sad because I don't want to hurt a NPC like character's feelings. Do you want to help me? Fuck no. Oh, but that's mean.
But also, one of the lead designers of the game said that you can go through this entire game without killing a single person.
Okay, I think I might do
So,
that actually. Like that's
yeah, I was about to say, Austin, there's your playthrough.
yeah. Wait, why do you attribute that to me so quickly before I even said anything?
Because that's what you do in games like this.
What are the games like this? How do you know
Metal
that?
Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Because you
I
guys
know
have
Yeah,
so
yeah.
hard that you wanted to a no alerts, like no combat, no kills run of
Yeah,
every
it
single
just
mission in Metal Gear Solid
the
5.
ghost run. Okay, that's completely true. You got me.
Ghost
I
runs
like-
are your favorite things in games like
Yeah.
this.
I
Okay.
love how defensive you got, and then you're like, yeah,
Well,
alright.
I just didn't know like what example he'd seen, but like you totally fucking nailed it. And yeah, that is something I go for that I even forgot just now. But now that you said it, like yep, that's what I'm doing. But I also at the same time though, I think I might just knock out people that say dumb shit. Then I'm like, oh, what was that? You're gonna sleep on that sentence.
Yeah, just go in this closet for the rest of the game, please. Just go over
Those
here.
corpo fucks have been cucking my wife. What?
Whoa.
Excuse me, what?
Exactly, exactly right.
I don't even
Excuse
say
me,
that
sir.
close.
Sit down. You see this park bench right here? We're gonna have a nice little chat. I'm gonna
Uh,
evaluate some things about you and me.
Yeah,
And we'll go from
let's,
there.
let's just go over some things.
Oh, I'm so excited for this game. I really hope I can do something like that. I'm kind of being ambitious with that. But yeah, this game looks like to be's knees. Honestly, I did not expect it to come out so soon. March kind of surprises me, and
Yeah, I was expecting it to be next gen, to be completely honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was ready for fall next year, and be fine with that. And I'd be like, wow, okay. But spring is like, okay, I hope I'm ready to play this when it comes out.
Yeah, I hope I'm emotionally ready. This might be rough.
Yeah, it's been, well, not so rough when you're checking out of it every couple of minutes by
Yeah.
some of this rating. Are you guys gonna be a dude or a dudette?
It really depends on the customization options for how my
Yeah.
character looks.
Oh, really?
Normally, 9 times out of 10, I play a female character in games just because I find the story always more compelling if the lead is a female, and more interesting if the lead is a female. However, if the female version doesn't offer too much good in terms of character customization, if I'm just kind of stuck with the way they look, I honestly like the look of male V better than female V. Female V just looks like Sombra. But if I can
Yeah.
customize her look past what she looks like in the trailer, then I'll most likely play her.
Yeah.
If I can customize her past Sombra.
Yeah, if I can customize her so she doesn't look like Sombra. Because she really, literally just looks like Sombra.
Yeah, I feel you there. I don't know. I have a lot of conflicting thoughts on it, so I'm really not sure. This time
And then
around.
male V, he's boring, but like at the same time, like
He's not Sombra.
he's not Sombra, but he's also very like obviously Hispanic. And you don't really get many Hispanic leads in video games. It really just depends on what my options are for customization. If they suck
Yeah.
for her, then I'll go with V. If they're anything past some like they're anything past mild, like cosmetic stuff, then I'll probably go with female V. So I mean, chances are it's like 90% probably gonna be female.
But who knows?
But who knows? We don't know. We don't know what this game's gonna be like yet, or at least what your character customization is gonna be like yet.
Watch this
If
whole
it's-
game
if
just suck.
if
Watch it be like 20% of the game it was supposed to be.
Don't you even say that. Don't say that.
Just gotta play that card just once.
Keanu put
All right,
his
what's
heart
next
and
on
soul
that?
into
As
it.
long as I mean, any other concluding thoughts on Cyberpunk?
Well-
Well, what's everybody else's gender? What's Anna's gender? What's Haley's gender?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be pretty obvious.
Are you guys both just gonna go girl?
I don't-
I'm gonna go female, and my playthrough is I'm gonna steal everything that's not nailed down and see where that gets me.
Oh, I want to see that.
That's
No, really.
good. That's good.
It's gonna end with some gang getting shit stolen from him, and she just waking up in a warehouse.
I feel like that's gotta go south so fast. I mean, unless you're really skillful about it.
The kleptomaniac run.
Yeah. Just what's that? A pencil? I'm gonna steal that. and
No
then mix
matter
it.
what it
Literally-
is, you steal everything and get into so much fucking trouble.
I
Yeah,
like to
just
imagine that,
pickpocket
like,
your allies.
she's really good about stealing everything, but it's always like big fuck off stuff that like people notice. So everybody in this city knows that somebody is stealing their shit, but they can't figure out who. So she's just walking around like, yeah, that's weird. Hey, that's a cool arm you have there, friend. It would be a shame if something happened to it.
Carrying a dumpster. Yeah, this is mine.
Yeah, this is just mine. It has my name on it. Fuck off.
I would lose my shit if you could do that whole thing without getting caught. If you could just like steal 90% of what you run into, and then nobody knows, even though your apartment is full of the city.
I'm like, hey, that gun looks familiar. Yeah,
No.
weird.
No.
Hey, man, I think I
Full
saw
of
your
the
car.
city.
I think I saw my car on your balcony. Yeah, I know, weird, right?
Yeah, crazy. I don't think so though. This one's blue. I'm pretty sure yours is like a periwinkle. Like it's totally different.
See this scratch right here? That
What
wasn't on
balcony?
your bike.
Come on.
See all these dents and see how it's broken? See, your bike didn't do that.
your bike wasn't like that. It was totally different.
Totally different. Trust me.
Yeah, you can't. Right.
I know. I was familiar with it.
I mean, like, I got it because I thought of yours. It's crazy.
Yeah, I
don't know.
mean, it was a great recommendation. Sucks what
Yeah,
happened to your
like-
bike, though. I'll let you know
Yeah,
if I see it.
sucks though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that playthrough. Okay, so actually, Ian, you didn't. Did you address like what your? Oh, you said you're gonna like take things as they go. So you're not gonna go with any kind of direction, like in whatsoever?
Not any hard direction. I'm gonna do what I feel right in the moment. That's usually what I do when I first play through.
Yeah. So right now I'm definitely leaning towards like, yeah, the ghost playthrough. Yeah.
Right. Just
I mean,
We'll
I'd
see
like
what
to.
else.
I'd like to think of what my playthrough would be. I guess if it's a possible thing, go like a Robin Hood playthrough, or absolutely like it might be the point of the game to absolutely fuck the corporations that have everything they possibly
Yeah.
do to help everyone else. That's probably the point of the game. But if it's
One
not,
point,
if
I would
there's
say.
many different ways it could go, then Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna take stuff from the corporation, not because they're a corporation, but because it's not nailed down.
because it's
I'm gonna take
'cause
stuff
it's
from the
now
corporation, not
mine.
because it's a corporation, but because it's stuff.
Because they have stuff.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Like fuck them. This is mine now. This is mine when I walked into this room. Eat a dick.
This is
Um,
my desk now.
Haley, what's your gender and approach?
So I definitely don't know about gender at all. It's really
Me neither. I'm back and forth.
yeah, like I don't know, like I definitely think it goes back to kind of what Ian said. It really depends on customizability.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I don't know, like I definitely don't want to do anything with the corporation. There's definitely a couple of the factions that like I'm super into. Like the Voodoo Boys, I'm super like I'm vibing with.
Do the Voodoo Boy playthrough.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like it really. I don't want to be mean because I'm just a pansy ass like that. But you know. Yeah, she's on the gang, but like, don't. She's too sensitive. Just don't talk to her. Like, don't. Oh fuck! Now you made her cry. Go apologize. Or
It would be awesome if we recorded like different, like if all four of us were able to record our playthroughs, we each different, like slightly different directions. You know, like one
Yeah.
of us was super evil and mildly evil and like kind of evil and super, or you know what I'm trying
yeah.
to say. We're all evil. That's what I'm going for. No, we're too good
We're
and too
all
bad.
evil. That's all it is.
I'm just chaotic neutral.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fucking over everybody as long as it helps me.
I'm cool with filling whatever gap we need filled. But okay, so you guys have both mentioned the customization thing. Let's just say it's even. I get the impression it's going to be like perfectly even. It seems like what they've shown so far is like replicatable between both. So if it's perfectly even, what would you guys choose?
Female.
Femme?
I don't know.
Still don't know?
I honestly don't know. Yeah.
What else?
Because it's not so much like the complexity of it. I guess it's just what appeals to me. So
Yeah.
like it's really just gonna be all right. Let's play around with this. All right, I'm not really feeling that. All right, let's play around with this. All right, I'm feeling this a little bit more. But I honestly like knowing or like hypothesizing that they're both even. I still couldn't give you an answer.
Yeah.
It'd really just
I mean,
be
the biggest thing for me in games like this, like think of like the main story, and what you're going to be doing in the story, and with like a male protagonist, and then imagine that same story with a female protagonist. And honestly,
and
like
better, I guess.
99 times out of 100, I find the story better and more compelling if the protagonist was a female.
Yeah, I can kind of get behind that. I generally have gravitated towards girl just to kind of like mix it up, basically.
Yeah.
Like, for a long time, I've done that. But I don't know. It definitely depends. There's lots of factors, so we'll see. If you guys all end
Yeah.
up going girl, though, I feel like I'll definitely go male.
We gotta have some testosterone somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, it's really not that important, though. Thank you guys for humoring me. We can move
Oh,
on
yeah.
to other games now.
All right.
What's next,
What else
Alpha?
we got?
Yeah, what is next? Hold on. Everything we announced. Stroke in it. Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
Eh.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but I don't
I
ever
mean,
play
that
the
looks
Dragon
pretty
Ball Z
sick.
games.
Atlas is making that. They're the same people who made Persona. So.
Okay, cool.
Ah,
I'm-
shit, son.
Oh, biscuits and
Fucking
tits.
gravy.
Is that a what?
Guanin.
Guana?
What's
Guano?
guanin?
What is
What's going on?
Guano.
guana? Guana?
Right? Atlas is making that? Sorry, I'm trying to
Um,
figure out.
I honestly don't
Oh.
know.
What's going on?
I feel like the Dragon Ball Z story would be more compelling if Kakarot would just die like the carrot he is. But you know,
Listen, DBZ's great. It's because it's terrible.
listen,
It's great because it's so dumb.
DBZ was great for the same reason Naruto was great for a whole minute.
Isn't
Like,
Atlas making this? I thought Atlas was making this. Maybe I'm really fucking wrong. It's Bandai Namco, but who's developing it?
Welcome, Miles.
Welcome, Miles. Oh, it's CyberConnect 2.
hello.
Never mind.
way to go, Ian. You fucked it up.
Who
I'm
here
fucking-
actually plays any of the Dragon Ball Z games? Just because I personally
mean,
haven't. But,
I
I
did.
played
haven't-
Budokai Tenkaichi 2.
Ooh, okay.
Budokai Tenkaichi 2. I hear that one was really fun.
It
Same.
was really fun.
Yeah.
One thing I
am-
really liked about that game is you could all of like the great characters that can turn into great apes. You could hit their great ape form like mid battle.
Huh.
That was pretty tight.
Sounds pretty tight.
No, I'm excited for this Project Z, or what's the official name?
Kakarot.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z
Kakarot.
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 Dude.
That's interesting.
Okay.
We just finished talking about Cyberpunk, so
Indeed.
to wrap
Yeah, how
wrap the
about
whole
that
thing
Keanu Reeves reveal?
How about it?
Yes.
To wrap things up as quickly as possible, what gender and
Ooh.
what playthrough are you gonna do?
Thank you, Ian.
What do you mean? I know nothing about the game, bro.
There's
Really?
a
Well, all right, my bruh.
basically as in like Mass Effect, there's a fem V and a male V.
He's the
And you can
main
choose which
character.
one. Yeah, V's the main character. There's a female version and a male version. Assuming that like you have customizability of equal.
It's a single player role playing game made by CD Projekt Red, same guys that made Witcher.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah.
And it promises to be a very open world RPG where you as a street thug are trying to go up against the corporations that own Night City, which is where the game takes place.
Wow.
Supposedly in the year 2077. And it's all
I mean-
cyberpunky.
I don't know about any of that, but
If you don't know much about the game, we can definitely come back to it. Because I was like, basically, we're trying to get to like what basic
So-
role playing decisions and gender.
Yeah. So what was the question? What do you mean? What role?
Like,
well,
Villain versus good?
yeah, just
well,
like,
yeah,
Basically.
like
Anna's gonna go through and steal everything she can. Austin's gonna do his Austin Ghost Run thing.
It's
I'm
all
gonna
Ghost
probably
Run.
go like a Robin Hood, as much good for the common people as I can. Haley's gonna go as nice as she possibly can.
be the nicest badass ever,
Like
like a
yeah,
black frosted sugar cookie.
I always like going like the paladin route, the shining
Oh,
knight
the
example.
lawful good.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Okay, if you guys are all like gravitating towards good, then I definitely have to go evil to counteract things.
So the
Just
murder
imagine me
everyone
as-
route?
Imagine me as an
No.
Imperial Guard from Oblivion. That's what I want to be in that game.
All right.
Damn.
Exactly.
All right.
Vanguard.
Lawful good. I guess I'm running neutral good.
You have
Haley's
broken the law.
running.
You
Haley's
violated
running.
the law. I'm running. I'm running.
No, I'm running like
Running.
true neutral. You're running chaotic good, Haley. Anna's running chaotic neutral.
I like that too.
I'm running lawful evil. I'll be just
Yeah.
like passing
Alright.
out anybody who says anything dumb. That was the other caveat, is I don't like, I'm concerned about the writing in this game. Like, I'm stoked on everything else, but the writing, not so much. So, thinking about just kind of removing everybody who doesn't, have good dialogue
Who
from the
doesn't-
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like? Who isn't the dialogue that he wants?
Right, we're just avoiding them. We don't need to, kill anybody here, but just, knock them out. Maybe just make them reconsider some things after
Yeah, right.
a nice little chat to evaluate how important they are in society. Yeah, good stuff. But as we've already spent a good 20 or 30 minutes on Cyberpunk, we should move on to other such games. Mentioned Dying Light 2. Nobody here was stoked about that, but I know, Miles, you played the first one, right?
Yeah, I really like Dying Light 1.
Did you see
For
anything
what
about
it for
number
what
2?
it is. I did not.
Apparently it's a thing.
Yeah, it was
cool.
announced.
Yeah.
It was announced last year.
I mean, if they make improvements upon the last game, I'm sure it'll be great. I mean, it's a fun game, but it's one of those games where if you kind of get to the end and then the replayability goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
but,
killer for me.
like,
I did hear about that, and replayability is really big for me.
Yep, and yeah, for sure. Like even like Dark Souls is a very like finite, like pretty like forward game, but it's very replayable in
Yeah.
terms of like its engine and whatnot.
Hey
So,
Anna,
like,
how many
after
characters do
one
you have in
playthrough-
Dark Souls?
Too many.
Yeah, right. No, but after one playthrough of Dying Light, I was like satisfied with what I did in that game, and I've gone back to it a couple of times to like show off weapons and shit. But in general, yeah, like one playthrough was kind of enough to feel that game. So if they can make the second one more replayable, that would be, really the only improvement I could wish upon the series. Because I like that free running and that crafting of weapons, and the storyline wasn't horrible. It's just, yeah, it's, haven't gone back since I enjoyed it kind of thing.
Very cool. Yeah. Hopefully said improvements with the sequel. Next thing is Elden Ring.
Ooh, I don't know what the
I-
fuck this game's about, but I'm super excited.
Yeah, I
what?
mean,
FromSoft.
Did you say Elvin?
Elden.
Yeah.
Elden.
Elder. So this is FromSoft's new game with Hidetaka Miyazaki, who's the genius behind all of From Software, The Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. But the thing about this one is George R.R. Martin wrote the universe.
So that was perfectly timed with the
Oh,
new
I
year.
think I heard about this.
Yeah. So we don't know much, but
Don't know much, but I'm
those
pretty
two
stoked.
facts are enough.
What's it called again?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Okay. Really
I-
quick, have any of you played Sekiro?
I am 2 bosses away from beating it.
No.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll touch on that later, man. I'm
For sure.
stoked to hear more about that game.
Have you played it then, Moss?
I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
heard much about it other than it's like what it's about, like its premise, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, not really much to say about Elden Ring. Cool that they're going with the mythology.
They,
That
yeah,
sounds...
they didn't give us much, so
Yeah.
I'm just excited to hear more.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much
yeah,
that.
I mean, my dick is so hard for it,
Exactly right.
but like, I mean, there's not a lot like I know, but I'm still so excited.
What little we know is pointing us in a very good direction.
Yes.
Gears 5, that's just surprised me how soon that's coming out. That kind of snuck up on me. And I was was it on the last podcast? And I was saying recently that I'm like interested to see where Gears goes now, because that's been Gears goes a series I've been on board with since the first. That like I would love to see the success of Fortnite equal a better game of Gears 5. Hopefully, maybe, but money
So
always.
like Gears 4 was bad.
What little I played of it, I was okay with.
It's well, at least the storyline was just very disappointing, and it's just bad. And what it's set up for Gears 5 has really good potential. Like the ground that it's set for what Gears 5 is about has really good potential. So I will say I'm optimistic for this one, but we have yet to see. Also, the new multiplayer mode where basically you start at the deepest part of the hive with a virus bomb, and you have nothing but a pistol and a knife, and you have to fight your way out before the virus bomb gets to you, but you also have to kill everyone in your way. The concept of that as a multiplayer mode sounds really fucking cool.
For real?
Like, I was actually like, that looks great. Like that. That sounds like it would be a lot of fun to do.
I actually didn't even know about that. But yeah, I have an objection about Gears 5, but could be cool. Hopefully, the money from Fortnite equals a better game.
Yeah.
It's actually not Epic. It's the Coalition.
Well, wouldn't they still get funding from Epic?
I think Epic technically owns the IP and is publishing it, but Coalition developed it.
Huh. I wonder how many of the same people are working on it, though.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. I have no idea. But there's not really much more to say about Gears 5.
Yep. Other than the collector's edition comes with an actual drone.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
The collector's edition for Gears 5 comes with the game and like an actual drone. Like that's modeled after a drone in the game.
I wonder if it's gonna be like the Fallout 76 actual canvas bag.
Which, by the way, people still haven't gotten that.
They're not going
The what do you call them? The YouTube promoters did.
Before
Well,
everyone
yeah,
else.
of course they did.
Yeah.
The influencers.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Ian with the terms.
And boy, did
I
they
only know it
influence.
because I fucking abhor that term. It's so slimy. It fucking like falls out of my mouth like a I don't know,
Slug.
fucking slug, like fucking Ron Weasley from Harry Potter.
Blech.
Or a
Nice
leech.
fill in there, Austin.
But Halo Infinite, guys, that does look like a big ball of fun that I want to
It looks
put
nice.
my hands on, rub all over.
Yep. Again, we don't have
Squeeze
much
it.
on it, so I don't know. It's tough when you don't have gameplay for a game yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
So like, I mean, as Pat, as angry as Pat says, John Halo, three, John Halo,
Halo.
343, is back.
I mean,
And
343 has a pretty disappointing track record, in my opinion, for sure, with making the Halo games. But like, this looks gorgeous.
no, sorry, John Halo 113.
Wait, what?
117.
Yeah.
It was the number. It was the number that I was attributed with Master Chief, and he called him John Halo, and or as like a.
Pretty sure it's John Halo 117 Master Chief.
I'm honestly more excited to play like a recycled Halo Reach online with friends again,
Oh,
more
absolutely.
than I am to see see what happens with Infinite.
Yeah.
But like that being said, I really, really wish the best for the people who have the reins of a universe that I love.
Yep.
Like, as much as I'm biased against them, and it's tough not to be, like, I hope that they can, like, get it, you
Same.
Who knew that the real Halo killer was going to be Halo itself?
know?
J'accuse!
Well,
But yeah.
yeah,
It's
you
tough.
pretty
It's tough to
properly
say
summed it
until
up
we see
just there.
gameplay.
Yeah, that as well. I'd very much like to see more than just like, look at our gorgeous engine and all these pre-rendered cutscenes in our beautiful new engine. We finally stopped using the Blam engine. Like,
Like, No Man's Sky was pretty looking too.
yeah.
It was a very pretty game that was really pretty to look at.
Basically, like, I'm on. This is like my last kind of stand with them because like I barely touched Halo 5. I forgave
And I
Halo
didn't.
4 eventually,
Right.
but like,
I
Even
forgave
Halo Wars 2,
Halo
man.
4.
Like, I've played it a little bit more, and it's
yeah,
fun, but it really is different from Halo Wars 1.
yeah,
I don't know. I think I am biased against certain things that aren't games I've played like a lot of already. And for instance, I've been playing a lot of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and at first I
hmm.
really didn't like that game, and now I'm really into that game. Like it's really fun,
Well, with
and
the
it's
updates they're
alive and
making
well.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, bro. It's like to me, it's the first Ubisoft game where they're like, all right, let's not remake this in 6 months. Let's like stick with it and keep like updating one game.
yeah.
That's why
Assassin's Creed, for
it's getting
instance.
a whole new like overhaul, which was announced at the Ubisoft conference, which we will be talking about after
Oh, jumped again.
the
Yeah, we
one
should
after
get
this
there
one.
pretty soon. Shit, we're taking a lot of time through Halo or through Xbox.
I mean, Xbox was the biggest one.
It
The rest of the
was.
Yeah,
conferences
I
are
mean,
super
honestly.
Okay. Let's see what else. So Ori looks cool. Stoked to
Ori
see
looks
that game finally.
Ori looks beautiful.
Yeah. Outer Worlds, yes please.
Outer Worlds, no, thank you.
What?
It
Really?
doesn't. I'm
when
not
when they when
optimistic.
they showed the gameplay, did you see how fucking shitty everyone looked, and how
No.
and
Okay.
how the CG trailer they showed had poor frame rate, and how everyone's models were stiffer than in fucking Skyrim?
Okay, let's see this. I did not see any of that stuff.
Also, this world is like a supposedly half the size of New Vegas.
What?
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's small.
Okay, I'm hearing completely different things about this game than what you're telling me now. So maybe not so much, but
Yeah,
Obsidian.
I was like skeptic. I was like excited, and then I saw more, and I was like, well, that's kind of disappointing. And then I saw this trailer, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna play this one.
Yeah, it sounds like so. If I'm not mistaken, there's one planet they're going to be starting off on, and then they're going to be going to others like over time. So just in that regard alone, it sounds like a game
Oh,
that'll
they're gonna
definitely be
games
better
as a
over time.
service it.
Yep,
They're gonna gas it.
yep. They're gonna make it a just slow fart that might one day clear the room and be an enjoyable place to stay. But probably not in the beginning. Okay, well, maybe not so much hype for that game then. And that's
I was
about
super
it,
hyped
honestly.
for it.
I was when I first saw it, and then after this, I'm like, eh.
Yeah,
Speaking of giant
I'm
farts,
yeah.
dude,
Tasty.
that Anthem video that you sent,
Oh,
I watched that before I
yeah.
joined in.
Yeah.
Just that last little like look to the ground, that really hit me, man. That was
Dude.
some real sadness
Oh
right
my
there.
god. Just everybody in the crowd. I just love how that video pans to like every person
Yeah.
behind
I don't
them.
know. Don't spend 7 years on a game and only spend a year on the game,
Yeah.
Right.
and maybe release it finished. Like, you would spare yourself sadness if you. I have no sympathy for this situation at all. Like, you
Oh no.
had 7 fucking years to work on this.
See,
You
but
only
dude,
worked
they
on
want
it
to work
for a
with the
year and a half.
community to make it a better game. It's
They
all
they
good.
only worked on it for a year and a half.
No, but
And
you don't understand.
and they
We're
released it
working.
completely fucking broken, completely. But it needs a literal complete gameplay overhaul, 100%, because every part of the gameplay is broken.
Yeah, I've said before and I'll say again, like I hope that they do the Final Fantasy XIV treatment, take it down for a year, fix it out as much as they can, and bring it back as a playable game.
Hmm
Maybe.
I just saw a video of Yoshi P, who's the director for Final Fantasy 14. Someone asked him if he's gonna do a 1.0 server for Final Fantasy 14, like they're doing with World of Warcraft. And he doesn't speak much English, but what he did say was nightmare.
Oh.
What? That's it?
All he did when he heard the translation was laugh, face palm, and then say nightmare.
Okay.
Wow.
That's an option. What was
Let me see if I
the?
can find this video.
We should probably move on to the next conference. I just like realized how much time we're already.
No, there are still a couple games that are like at least one more that I wanna two more that I know I wanna talk about.
I saw Sea of Thieves in there,
Well,
but
what
I
are
don't remember
they?
seeing any video of that.
Spiritfarer.
Oh,
Spiritfarer looks so good.
Huh.
okay.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a game
You
where
know, I wanna talk about this because I saw this and I fucking gushed. So, has anyone here played Ingress? It's a Steam game.
Heard of it.
So it's a super. It's not simplistic, but it's a very pretty, very like geometric game, and it gives off the very same vibe. So basically, what it is you're a ferryman for the river Styx, and you're ferrying souls from the end of their life into the afterlife. And the whole premise of the game is you building up this boat to carry souls from one like area to the next, going across all of these challenges and stuff, and learning about these characters until you essentially get to the end of their story where you have to bring them to death. And it's such a simple concept, but it just I'm so excited for it, and it looks so pretty. And it's a 2D like side scroller, so it's nothing crazy fantastical. But I saw the developer talking about it, and I fucking melted. I was like, "This is my game. I'm into it. I can't wait for it."
Awesome.
yeah,
Damn.
it's looks so sweet.
I'm pumped.
Alright.
And then the other one that I wanted to talk about for sure was Psychonauts 2.
Oh yeah, that does look pretty good.
And this is a lot. This is definitely an Anna topic. Anna,
Maybe.
maybe Anna's mic disconnected. That happens sometimes, or her phone died. Or
Have we
something.
already talked about games that we're playing?
No.
We're skipping that. We're skipping that for just total E3 coverage.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because there's not quite enough time.
Anna.
Sounds good.
Says she's online. Fuck.
That was tasty.
I need you to calm down.
Well, we can always just come back to it if she comes back.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna message her.
There was quite a lot of stuff that I saw at the PC thing that I was like impressed by, or at least that I was okay with. Like just a lot of things I wasn't expecting. But now looking back at it, there's not a whole lot that sticks out. Besides Baldur's Gate 3, that was definitely like the big one.
Yeah.
And just yeah, I very much liked just the whole format of that show, and like the interview that they did with those two developers at the Baldur's Gate thing. Just like yeah, I'm on board. Did you guys see any of the PC gaming show?
Nope.
Jeez.
I heard about a lot of it, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't get to watch it.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of disappointed now when I go back and look at it, and I'm like, okay, well, actually, they seemed cool at the time when I saw footage of them, but these are all.
It's real hype when you're watching something for the first time, but after you go
Yeah.
back and rewatch it, it does take on a new context.
Well,
It kind of reassesses your I don't know.
well, there's definitely that, but I think it's also in part just like I'm seeing like a lot of these games were new to me, and it was like my first exposure kind of to any of these, and I was like, that looks dope. I might play that. That looks pretty dope. I might play that. Like they were each they had something new to offer that I was impressed with. Like there wasn't a single thing that they showed that I was just like, okay, let's move on next thing, and I was just not expecting that at all. And of like the PC gaming shows of all places where that happened, like not with Nintendo or with like Xbox, but this one I was just like sat down and yeah, was content. But
Can you hear me now?
hello.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
We were real worried about you.
Back from the abyss.
I wasn't worried.
Miles was really hoping you were dead. Honestly.
So what
Like,
happened?
That's just.
What
Nah, I
happened,
just knew you
Anna?
were good. I know you were just handling business, yo.
Fighting the
Miles was
microphone.
like, whatever. Yeah.
So, Psychonauts 2, Anna? Thoughts?
Tell me about it.
I'm not 100% sure because it's not being written by the original writers.
Ooh.
So
I know that.
I don't know where that's going.
I mean, it's still
First
got.
one was amazing, and I hope the second one was great, but they made this weird VR game that wasn't that great. I don't know. Cautiously optimistic.
She has a foam finger, but she doesn't have any front row seats anymore. What is happening
I can only
right
afford
now?
the nosebleeds, but like I'm
Yeah.
still there. Still there cheering on the team.
Go, guys! Do it!
Yeah, I didn't know they made a VR game. So the same studio made a VR game as Psychonauts VR?
I don't know if it was the same studio, but I know there was a Psychonauts VR game.
Hmm.
It was weird.
Okay. Okay. What other conferences were there?
After PC was that night was Bethesda. Bethesda was next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
fucking
while
whatever.
And well, okay, no, shut up. Here's the thing. Um, while Bethesda as a game studios, fuck Bethesda as a game
Oh, rip.
studios. Bethesda as a publisher who publishes games. Let me tell you, some of these games are pretty cool. I think the most important one is Ghostwire Tokyo,
Ooh, I
which
absolutely agree.
I'm so
who knows
excited.
what the fuck that's about.
Yeah.
But Akumi Nakamura is the director on this, and she is a fucking treasure.
She's the best
She
wingman
did
you could
art.
ever
She did
ask
the art
for.
design and character design for Evil Within and Evil Within 2 and Bayonetta.
Huh. Okay.
We in good hands, fam.
We in real good hands.
Yeah, this definitely reminds me of Evil Within. I'm watching the trailer right now. Like that definitely has some of the same vibes. Okay. Interesting.
She was the apprentice director under Shinji Mikami. So
Yeah, I've never heard of either of these people. But
Shinji Mikami is like one of the best. So he founded Tango Gameworks, which is the studio that made
oh,
Evil
okay.
Within 1 and 2. He's also was part of Capcom and Clover and Studio 4. I think his biggest,
Those are good sense.
probably biggest thing that he's done is a little series called, you might have heard of it, Resident Evil.
Come again?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Tell us more.
He was the designer on Devil May Cry. Producer, I worked as executive producer on Devil May Cry and almost the first four Resident Evil games, and also Resident Evil Zero and Code Veronica. He also was involved with Beautiful Joe and Killer 7 and Dead Phoenix.
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean, like,
He was when he was part of Clover, he did God Hand. Um, and then he left them to join ZeniMax to become Tango Gameworks, and that's where Evil Within came from. And when he decided to do Evil Within, he took up an apprentice director named Akumi Nakamura, and she is the one that was she did the art design for Okami. Then she left Capcom to join Platinum to do concept art and character design for Bayonetta. And then she left Platinum to join Tango, and then she became the apprentice and lead concept artist for Evil Within and Evil Within 2. And now she is finally directing her own game, which is called Ghostwire Tokyo.
we got some titans in the house, is really what all this means.
Yes. She was trained by one of the best game designers in horror history, and now we're getting a game from her.
And the
Fuck
most
yeah.
important thing to note, guys, is it's gonna be spooky.
Yeah, do
During
we
the
know
conference-
anything other than like this weird abstract
Yeah,
trailer?
it takes place. Yeah, it takes place in Tokyo, and a bunch of people fucking disappear, and
Right.
there are ninjas and samurai and grabby finger dudes, and I don't know.
Okay,
And ghosts.
that about sums it up. Okay,
But
Yeah.
man, it looks so cool. Man, it looks so cool.
sure does.
People are
Uh,
fucking going missing naked. It's weird.
Fuck what they did to Commander Keen.
What?
The Commander Keen IP. Commander Keen belonged to id Software, and it used to be just like, you know, a dumb old indie like side scroller of just like, you know, it was a dumb fun game with like, you know, a sense of humor. But the direction they're taking this and the fact that they're making it into a mobile game is pissing on the IP.
I haven't even like heard of the game, but I can agree with you.
You don't need to. The whole thing's in super big distaste. Like it's the way they describe it is it's supposed to be like a Saturday morning cartoons kind of feel, but it just feels
Oh,
like the most pandering bullshit I've ever seen.
okay, I
Like
think I
it's
did
just
see
a
that.
yeah, it's just a super distasteful like mobile game version of this great classic that
Also,
everybody likes.
Yeah.
bold of Bethesda to rent out a conference room so a third of their conference could talk about how they're updating their game.
Y'all could have just sent me the patch notes.
For Fallout 76, and that would have been enough. Um, Doom Eternal looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, Doom's pretty great.
You
That
mean
looks pretty fun.
Doot Eternal?
Doot
Doom
Eternal.
Eternal.
Okay, that fan art of that demon
Yeah.
with the horns on its back actually made it into the game. There is a
Wait, what?
demon with horns on its back.
Can you show me what you mean? Can you send me this? Or like, what
Let's see
should
if
I
I can
look
find
at?
it.
Okay.
Just type in Doot Eternal.
Dude, dude.
Yeah, that demon made it into the game. He is hidden somewhere as an Easter egg, apparently.
Um, wait, what? Is there a
Hold on.
picture that you sent me? Cause I'm not sure what I'm
Hold
looking
on.
at. Google Images.
I'm gonna
Doot Eternal.
find
What
it.
the hell
Doot
is this?
Eternal.
There's like what? There's videos of like moving, dancing
Hold on.
demons
I'm
with.
gonna
Just a picture. Just go to images, and it's like the that pops up.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean
Wait, what is on his back? What are these?
Those are horns.
Okay. Does he have a
Apparently
gun?
somewhere in that game, that demon and Doom Eternal, this demon, like a character model for this demon, is hidden somewhere as an Easter egg.
That's wonderful. Dude.
But that's pretty much everything from Bethesda that I think is worth talking about.
I don't feel like Bethesda should have gotten any attention, but that's just me.
And like I said, as a publisher, they do some pretty cool stuff, pretty good stuff.
Ikumi should have had that conference all to herself, damn it.
But as a developer, they shit the bed. They absolutely fill the bed with their own shit.
I think part of it is they're in an interesting chapter too. As a
Mhm.
long-term fan, like they started kind of sketchy, and I feel like they're kind of like the Little Caesars of the gaming companies, in my opinion. They're
As
making
someone who worked at
games and
Little
they're fun to
Caesars,
play, but you know, they're just short of like microtransactions and getting into Ubisoft trouble or EA trouble
Yeah.
where there's just like weird corporate backlash. I feel like they're just like homegrown enough to not be doing that. So instead we get Fallout 76. But like
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never picked up 76 because I knew what I wanted and it was the games that they had already like worked on and put out. Fallout 4 was fun. Wasn't my, my Fallouts growing up, but I had fun playing that game and it felt more like Fallout than Fallout 76. So I hope they learn from it. I hope it's a chapter in their book, not the end,
Yeah.
you know? Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, it kind of feels like this is their, like,
This
this
is
is the
it.
thorn, this is their Achilles heel.
For real.
as a developer, you might be right. I think as a publisher, they're gonna stick around because, like I said, they own a
Yeah.
lot of IPs and they do really good things with them.
Yeah.
Next was Ubisoft.
Ew.
I
Um,
don't remember anything significant about them, but
Watch Dogs Legion looks woke,
yeah.
woke, woke as fuck.
That was
Doesn't
probably my
look
biggest like upset. Like I was not expecting much of that, even though there was the leak. I just didn't really pay attention to it. And
I didn't see anything about
I
that.
expected nothing and got even less.
what? What? Are you serious? I was blown away. I was just like, "Hey, Ubisoft, what are we doing nowadays?" You expected nothing and got like you're saying
I
it's
didn't
shit.
expect much and I got less. Like Watch Dogs Legions does not look good.
I
And
never really liked the Watch Dogs series anyways.
I'm with you.
I
I
mean,
was not
yeah.
a fan.
I mean, me neither, but this new one looks very interesting.
I don't know. It looks like
Okay.
it's trying.
Yeah, I
It's
haven't
trying
seen
so
anything
hard to
about it.
be relevant. Um,
Yeah.
Uh,
Break Breakpoint looks okay. Division Two is whatever. We do, at least Miles, is the Rainbow Six Quarantine is a game that's coming out.
so
It took quarantine mode from PVE and Siege and is gonna make it into a fully fledged game.
Indeed.
yeah, so there's a lot of I don't want to say controversy, but there's a lot of backlash for that, mainly because Rainbow Six Siege is like a very it's like an MLG like it's a huge game right now in
Mhm.
terms
Yeah.
of like people playing it competitively. And
Oh,
so
for sure.
like I feel like personally I love playing Siege, but it is very like I love search and destroy in the Call of Duty games, and this is that to like a hyper realism, like almost extent. And it's cool, like learning the operator types and understanding like how to work in a team, how you work in the team, like just different aspects of the game, right? And so a game like Quarantine just kind of might take away from all of that,
Yeah.
which I think would be refreshing, but a lot of people just don't want to, change the disc or really like
Right.
change the game in your hard drive.
Change is
Um,
hard.
but yeah, a lot of people have mixed reactions on that because they had mixed reactions on the game mode. I think it's gonna be fun. I feel like it could be a mix between like Nazi zombies and like more of a like an intuitive like I don't know like Left 4 Dead kind of feel. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we see
Yet to
Ubisoft do
see a
this a
whole lot
lot.
of gameplay.
Of like we see Ubisoft doing this a lot of like when they take the title from before with like Far Cry 3 and then do Blood Dragon and just like mix it up
Yeah,
a little bit. But I guess with
or
Rainbow
New
Six it
Dawn.
is unique. With like it's been years this game has been out, but yeah.
Yeah, it will, and hopefully they want years to go. Like they have plans to double the amount of operators they currently have in the system, which would be crazy. Like you would see maybe the age of like big team battle in operator mode, which is kind of ridiculous, but maybe there in the future because it's growing.
Um, I need to pee, and I'm realizing we still have a few more of these
We have
conferences
two
to
more
get through.
conferences. Yeah, two more conferences to go.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with going overtime a little bit if you guys are, but yeah, could you guys excuse me for a couple minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
got
good.
it.
Yeah.
Full bot?
No worries.
So here, Miles, we could take this opportunity to talk about Sekiro.
Sweet.
Um, I will say that um, in my tier list for favorite FromSoft games that are of this current generation, Dark Souls is still number one. Bloodborne is number two. Sekiro's number three.
Cool.
Um, if you want to play it, I will give you tips. Um, you cannot play this like a Souls game. You cannot
Yep.
play this like Bloodborne.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it,
Those are literally the two things I've heard quite regularly from people.
it, it rewires your brain to think literally ultra aggressively, but instead of being in Bloodborne, like Bloodborne teaches you how to play aggressively, but also like you can earn health back if you hit people. This game teaches you how to play ultra aggressively and also not get hit.
Yep.
Um,
Samurai.
there are a lot of skills in this game that are very much required for you to buy to progress because they're really, really tough. And the bosses in
Yeah.
this game are really, really hard.
Yeah,
Um,
and some of them look crazy, bro.
yeah,
Like I've
they're
seen just a few clips, but like some of these, I'm like, how? Like, where do you start?
you start by dying over and over and over again until
Like,
you
I'm
learn
gonna,
kind of
I'm
what's
gonna hit
going
your
on.
big toe. I'm gonna hit your big toe 16 times and then go flying. Like,
Uh-huh.
geez.
Yeah, it's insane. I would still super recommend it. It's still so good. Like it's such a good game. The
Yeah.
story is
So,
the story is this is From Software's attempt at making that more straightforward story that everyone always wanted. And guess what? It wasn't what everyone wanted. It's not what they thought it was gonna be.
right.
Everyone
And the
was
story's
real
okay. The
disappointed.
story's still good, but I'm two bosses from finishing my first playthrough, and honestly, I'm scared because it's the optional hardest boss. Like you know how the Souls game has the optional boss that's harder than any other boss in the game.
Yep.
Well, I'm like I just got to that guy and then the final boss, and I'm honestly super intimidated and scared, and I haven't wanted to put it back in because of that.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
I've
absolutely,
yep.
absolutely recommend. It's a solid like 8.5, 9 out of 10.
That's where I'm at in Outlast. I'm like in a closet and I refuse to like
All right, I'm
turn
back.
that game back on because I'm just gonna pop in a closet with some dude ready to mess me up.
Yeah.
It's
And that's
just
how that
hard to
game
go
goes.
back to that feel. Welcome back, Austin.
Thank you, sir.
Have you guys already talked about the Final Fantasy VII remake?
Mm-mm.
That's the next conference. Square Enix is the
Sweet.
next conference.
Awesome.
So yeah, Square Enix is the next conference. Let's give a little bit context to this Final Fantasy VII remake. Um, the gameplay looks great. They finally showed Tifa, which everyone was asking for. But here's something that I told Haley the other night. That's a really good sign. Hey, who played Kingdom Hearts 2 here?
I
Yeah.
did.
Did you like the combat in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Hell yeah.
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
The combat designer for Kingdom Hearts 2 made the combat for this game.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Instant classic.
Well,
So that's
Welcome
a
in.
very good sign. Um, here's where I'm concerned about this game. This cloud is Advent Children Cloud. This cloud is mysterious, aloof, I'm a bad boy cloud that we got from the Advent Children movie. Cloud in the game of Final Fantasy VII is a fucking dweeboid. He's a loser and he's a fucking child in Final Fantasy VII, and no one likes him. And that doesn't look like they're going to be doing him that way in this game,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, he
sucks.
definitely seems a
so
lot more badass.
so wait a minute.
But
They're gonna. Sorry, I just my thought here is they're gonna make this big badass boy dress in like drag. Like, is that what's about to happen?
Yeah, they also Cloud dressed in drag in the original Final Fantasy VII. Also, there was a scene where he goes into a spa and there's like 8 muscular dudes with handlebar mustaches walking up
I'll
to him. Then the screen goes blank and then Cloud wakes up. So what the fuck was that? And is that going to be included in this remake?
it better be.
I'm with you, Miles. I think it fucking needs to be.
I think that part needs to be remastered.
Yeah.
I want to see those mustaches floating.
In this day and
I
age,
want to
those
see
things
those.
might not be okay anymore. So I want to see how far Square is willing to go to actually remake this game. Because
I
there are
Do
a
you
don't
lot of
know
think
things
they
that
in
were
they're
Final
okay
Fantasy VII.
initially.
Do you know that they're making it massive and splitting it into 3 games?
Yes, I did.
Are
It
Or
sounds.
three
you?
three discs, I'm pretty sure, which
Yeah.
are like separate, yeah, gigs.
Yeah, the first disc, it sounds like,
Gonna
is
be
going to
massive.
be, Mako Reactor, the city, stuff
Yep,
like that. And then the other 2 discs are going to be split from there.
yep. Yeah, honestly, like,
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
that was announced back, like, when it was first announced, like, 2 years ago, I think.
I thought
Yep.
so. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it was that there's 2 like Blu-ray sized discs. That's just like the first part of the game that'll be released, and then they have no roadmap for the rest of the game since it's taken
It
so
could be
long to make
that.
this first part. That's what I thought
Yeah.
it was, but yeah.
Maybe that is what it is. I just remember them saying that it's massive and split, and the first part alone is very massive.
Oh my god.
What?
This ad keeps auto playing itself. Motherfucker, it's so loud.
But yeah, like if you guys watch the trailer, just like some of the shading, some of that
Yeah.
some of that
Square
HD
Square Enix's
holding the
CG
glass,
has
shaking some liquid around. I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
Square Enix
Dang.
CG has always been at least 5 or 6 years ahead of its time. And if you've seen Final Fantasy 15 Kingsglaive, which is the movie they did, there are several parts of that movie where I forget I'm watching a CG movie. Like it's really that good.
That's crazy.
Um, some other games that they announced. Final Fantasy VIII's getting a remaster coming to all modern consoles. So that was pretty sick because they've ignored 8 for the past 5 years. Octopath Traveler is now on Steam, which means we can all play it
Yeah.
because it was a Switch exclusive. Um, I want to ask Anna about this one. Make sure Anna's still here.
I'm
Okay.
still here.
Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Yes.
That looks great.
It was pretty great. The first one had a lot of like work and it's very much a Minecraft clone, but it's like a third person. It's more adventure focused than
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft.
I think it looks a lot of fun, to be honest. Like
First
I was super against it when I first heard about it, but I saw things and I'm looking at it, I'm like,
first one was really fun.
this could be all
It was
right.
cute, and it had a lot of the Dragon Quest heroes in it.
Yeah,
It
I
was
knew
great.
nothing about it until I saw the trailer at E3. But yeah, it looks awesome. Just from that alone. There was a first game?
Yeah,
I mean, that's why this
it's
one is called
two.
Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Oh.
The first one's still on PlayStation, but the weird thing is, it's like fucking $60.
Okay.
First one was pretty
King
fun. So
Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, which is the DLC coming for it on this winter for PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that exists. That's pretty much it for Square Enix conference. They
Yeah.
didn't really talk about Final Fantasy 14 only because they just did like a live update with Yoshi P on it like a week before E3. So I will just say that Final Fantasy 14 is really fucking good. I'm super loving it so far, and like super fun to play.
Yeah, didn't they do like a brief update just saying like there was some kind of update coming for Final Fantasy 14? I thought that was a thing.
Yeah, and the update coming was just like another small announcement of some other things they're gonna do.
Okay.
I have a feeling that the reason they're remastering Final Fantasy VIII is because they're kind of pulling from Eden from Final Fantasy VIII and making it like a raid dungeon in Final Fantasy 14. But yeah, I'm currently playing that with Haley's brother and my old boss's boyfriend and some other people, and I super love it. I just wish I had more people to play with, but
Really?
I'm not asking you guys to play it because it's like you have to pay for the game, and then it's also a $15 a month subscription because it is an MMO. So I'm just gonna be playing this when I can with people I know.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
know
definitely an
how
investment.
you like it over time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty much Square Enix's conference. Last conference was Nintendo, and this is the
Yeah,
other
you guys already talked
really.
about Mojang.
No, we have not.
Real quick then, have you guys seen about that dungeon like
Oh yeah,
crawler
that was at
style game?
the mine that was at the mine the Microsoft.
It looks
Um,
decent. I kind of skipped over it though because I'm not super stoked about it, but like
I
definitely looks.
I think it's trash.
Oh,
Trash.
Yeah.
Wait, what trash are we talking about?
The
missed that.
Minecraft dungeon crawler.
Oh, what?
I feel like it could have potential
Yeah.
if they really like did it the Minecraft way and it was Mojang being creative and like, you know what I mean? It really could be at best creative and get like an artistic type award nomination route. You know what I mean?
I absolutely
Yeah.
agree.
Because I feel like that is the Mojang heart, but you know, not everything works out the way you want. And yeah, I have mixed reactions on that one as well.
I feel like
Yeah,
it
I
could
just
definitely
wanted
end
to
up
see
being
if
a
you
hidden
guys saw
gem.
that. What was that?
I'm sorry to talk over you. I feel like it could definitely end up being a hidden gem.
That's what I'm. You know what I mean? I just feel like it has potential,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna sleep on it.
I'm probably gonna sleep on it. Let me know how it is.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna nap right the fuck on.
So Nintendo then? Is that it?
Yeah, Nintendo.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about the real
Some
shit.
big ones.
talk about
Luigi's
fucking-
Mansion 3.
Yes,
Dude,
please.
I'm so jacked. Come on.
It's gonna be
It
so
looks
good.
great, although really Gooigi,
Yeah.
really?
I'm fine with that. Are you kidding me?
Luigi.
Yes, please, Nintendo.
Gooigi, like the
Goo
concept
me
is
up.
cool. Goo.
The
Oh,
concept
the
is
name?
cool,
So
and the fact
dumb.
that, but
Yeah.
the name Gooigi.
So dumb.
Dude,
See, it's so
Goo me
funny.
up.
You guys are defending that kind of the writing in Cyberpunk, but I'm like, Luigi, let's go. Bring on the cheese. Sharp cheddar, please.
The fact
You're like,
that
nah, that's fine.
Luigi is
Cheese
your
here
second
okay.
player that can't go into water, and also that multiplayer mode where you're going up like the hotel tower trying to clear out all the ghosts as fast as possible. Shit looks fun as fuck. Like it looks so
Yeah.
much fun.
I'm really hyped.
Mm-hmm.
We won't talk about that Dark Crystal game because what the fuck.
I'm not even sure what you mean, so okay.
Link's Awakening, yo, shit looks great.
Absolutely, I love that art style that
Yeah.
they're doing. That whole art direction of like the candy looking stuff. Yes,
Mhm.
give me more.
Let's do it.
Gets me hard.
I don't really
Yeah, I'm with
understand
you.
the point of creating the
Whoa.
dungeons that you yourself have made, but apparently that's a thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I don't know much about it either, but like, I mean, it's alright. It's cool, I guess.
Let's see. The Trials of Mana, along with Collection of Mana, which is pretty cool. It's about fucking time.
Tight.
So, Collection of Mana is going to be the Mana games, one that was never released in America. And then the Trials of Mana game is going to be released for Switch in early 2020. I was more talking about the Collection of Mana being available on the eShop because it fucking should be, but for some reason hasn't.
But are you saying it's about fucking time, as in it's about the act of fucking time, or
No, that would
No.
well, maybe, but
Time
it's about
fuckers.
fucking time. That it happened.
time? Okay, that's
Um,
slightly less appealing.
Fire Emblem,
Yeah.
Fire
Also
Emblem
not a
Three
big deal.
Houses makes sense now. Like we were actually given context on how this story was going to work, and I think it looks super cool. No More Heroes 3 is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I think it'll be okay.
What about you, Anna? This is more of a us thing.
I'm pretty excited.
Finally, Travis touchdown in a mainline No More Heroes game because that last one was pretty bad. It seems like we get weekly. Okay, so I like being surprised by things, seeing something that I was not expecting to see. And let me tell you, I was not expecting to see a Contra game at an E3 in 2019.
I mean,
Right.
I wasn't expecting to see a Blair Witch in 2019, but
That
like,
is true. I was also very surprised by that.
Mm-hmm.
how
Oh
fast?
yeah. By the way, guys.
Blair Witch.
Really quickly, this weekend, since we're on Nintendo, this weekend in Seattle, I don't have the address right now. It's somewhere. It's the Seattle Retro Gaming Expo. So I know, yeah, some of you guys are really far away, but Austin, you're not doing anything. It's today and tomorrow. It's just it's an expo, so there's gonna be like food and fun, but there's also gonna be a lot of different like stands of YouTubers and
Huh.
like gaming people,
Yeah, I had no
record
idea
Like,
about
holders.
like
this.
Crimson King,
Yeah,
Star
one of my like favorite
Platinum.
YouTubers is gonna be there, so I'm
Really?
thinking about going. Yeah,
Where is it
it
at?
would be cool
Seattle?
to get a picture with him. Yep, it's I'm pretty sure it's in downtown Seattle. It's like an all day expo from
And
like
you'd be
8 to
going
6.
tomorrow if you did go? Okay.
Yeah, if I do. But I'm trying to think. I feel like I had something going on tomorrow to why it wasn't why I didn't plan on it. But yeah, I don't remember.
I would definitely have
But
to cram it in too, but yeah, maybe. That sounds interesting.
yeah, but yeah, I follow this guy John Hancock, the immortal John Hancock, and he has a crazy huge like retro gaming collection and some like rarities. And so yeah, I was watching his live stream and he brought it up, and yeah, I actually talked to him about like him going and checking it out.
Dude,
But yeah, dude, it's pretty cool.
okay.
So I might show up there, but yeah, for anyone listening to
Yes.
this and all y'all on the podcast with me, if you can go, it's pretty cool. It's getting bigger too, which is sweet to hear. But yeah, Retro Gaming Expo in Seattle.
Sounds like it would be a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I'll post this probably tonight, so we might see our fans down there, and
Yeah, man.
we can
Fucking
maybe
you.
see if we can fit it in our schedule to stop and say
Yeah.
hi.
It's like one guy in a trench coat. Hey, you Austin.
Are you my
Yo.
number one fan? You bet.
You bet.
Wanna show
What's
you
your
something?
name? What's your name?
What,
Sephiroth.
Narny?
Oh, fuck this.
Wait, what?
You ask him what his name is, and he says Sephiroth, and you're like,
What
fuck
is that?
this.
What is Sephiroth?
Sephiroth is the main antagonist from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
It implies that he renamed himself Sephiroth, which, if you meet someone like that, fuck that person.
Yeah, that's not the kind of friend you need in your life, Austin.
It's like somebody who renames themselves like Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
Or Gaylord.
You
Edgelord.
really don't want to be. You don't want to be renaming yourself fantasy character names.
Reaper.
Ew.
Alright.
I'm still with Gaylord here. Anyway.
Yeah, I think Gaylord definitely is up there.
It seems like we get a new update every week for Pokemon, so we'll just remain hyped for Pokemon.
Yeah, let's all just stay hyped.
Sword plus shield equals height.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to bed tonight to practice for Pokemon Sleep.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I'm gonna go practice.
All I will say
that
is
your cue?
the sword legendary is one of my favorite ones of all time.
The sword legendary? What?
Yeah, the Pokemon Sword version legendary Pokemon that's gonna be on that one. Have you not seen him?
No.
Okay.
All right, Austin. Well, I'm gonna need you to fix that right.
Okay, I guess I have some homework to do.
That's right. And there's gonna be a quiz next week, so figure it out.
Okay.
Alright.
I'll come prepared, guys.
You better. Number 2 pencils only.
Alright, Miss Mickey.
Ew, I don't like that.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Anything else from Nintendo?
Yeah, fucking Animal Crossing. God damn it.
There, I posted a link to it. I didn't want that. Why didn't you just download the actual JPEG, huh?
I don't give a fuck.
And it was
Animal
delayed
Crossing.
because they care.
Yeah, it was delayed because we cared.
Because they care.
I'm so excited. I mean, my brother and I are also like, I mean, I don't really know why it takes so long because it's been the same
Alright,
game
I
for
just
fucking years. But,
Yeah, Panzer Dragoon, which is an old franchise that was really good. Astral Chain, which is Platinum Games' new IP that they're working with.
Right.
Platinum Games are the guys who made Nier Automata, Bayonetta, and Beautiful Joe and Wonderful 101.
Yes.
They make the best character action games in the world, and Astral Chain looks fucking sick. And then also Cadence of Hyrule, which is a spin-off of Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is one of the funnest indie games that I've ever seen.
Huh. All right.
And other than that, that was pretty. Yeah, Animal Crossing was probably the biggest one. People have been waiting for that for a while. There was another conference that we skipped over, and it was Devolver. I would suggest watching Devolver's conference. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I never did.
But
I think the only
that
thing notable from Devolver is fuck, what's the arcade cabinet they
yeah.
just came out with?
So Enter the Gungeon, House of the Gun-Dead, is getting an arcade release.
Huh.
Like they're manufacturing and selling to arcades and consumers an arcade cabinet for Enter the Gungeon, House of the Gun-Dead.
That's really cool to see that kind of stuff, honestly, in 2019.
That's super fucking cool.
Yeah. And I know that 343 came out with a Halo one, like within the last like year or two. So, I mean, I'll give them a little bit of credit there. Just yeah, like I like seeing these cabinets, I like seeing arcades stick around as long as they can, at least.
But that covers E3.
Yeah,
All right.
that was E3.
Well,
That's
friends,
work, ladies and gentlemen.
Gentlemen of the jury.
And ladies.
we are done
Oh, I thought
talking
Miles
games.
said
Do things
ladies.
my way.
I thought
The
Miles said ladies, so I followed it up with gentlemen.
ladies tops off. 420. 420. It's been a podcast. Good night, everybody.
It's been a podcast.